I wanted to do loads of things today. I haven't done any of them. Spent almost the entire day lying down. The foot is getting better, which is why I'm not heading off to the doctors, but it doesn't feel like... I just want it to get better as quickly as possible, which I think means not putting a lot of weight on it. And I'm running a bit late for Jasper and lunch. You know what I like? I like doing things. I wanted to sort the summer house out, or at least do some summer housing today, but I decided with the foot it wasn't a good idea, and it's really frustrating. Yeah, I like doing things, and unfortunately, doing things and having a foot that is not ideal, yeah. But it does give me plenty more time to talk about EVs, so there's that. Speaking of which, you've got the Detroit Auto Show and CES, just had those, and one message came across to me loud and clear from both of those, although I didn't go to either of them, but from the news coverage, of course, and that is that, firstly, electric vehicles are very much what's coming, and the electric vehicle end of things seems to have moved, at least for mainstream manufacturers, into more of a, this is what's actually definitely coming. It's just going to take us a few years to actually... And the other thing, and this came mainly from the Detroit Auto Show coverage that I read, there were quite lots of autonomous vehicle bits and bobs. Now, nothing, I didn't see anything anyway that I thought was particularly revolutionary in comparison to what I've seen at various other shows, like, for example, the low carbon vehicle event that we have in the UK in, what was it, August, September? That's a good event, by the way, kind of like the UK's version of, well, what's nice about it is it just concentrates on EVs, unlike the Detroit Auto Show and CES, which have them, but they don't concentrate on them. It doesn't seem like there's any massive announcements coming. I don't think there really needs to be one either. I think actually the massive announcement that everyone's waiting for is, yes, we finished actually designing and building the production line, and now these cars are rolling off, going into dealers' lots, and you can go out and buy one. That's the announcement we all want. Because I was a little bit late leaving, that's all the time I've got in the car now, and we'll have to pick this up later. Right, I recommend we get in quickly, Jasper. Yeah, we need to get in quickly, Monkey, because although it's not raining now, it's going to rain hard in a minute. See? It's not look good. Obsessive nature obviously runs in the family, I'm guessing. Right, oh, ouch. Foot still hurting. Dull. Good news is, it won't be forever. It is getting better. Every day it feels slightly better. So, with any luck, by the weekend I'll be back on the running machine. Okay. Brought my editing suite downstairs. Don't worry about that mess. I'm going to get that tidied up in about 5 minutes. Oh man, I really need to get a light. Drat it. That's upstairs. Okay. There we go, it's a little bit better. I should probably sit down, shouldn't I? But then it'll mess up all the height and I can't be bothered to deal with that. So, what I was going to talk about just briefly was Mercedes, actually, because they reckon 25% of their sales in the year 2025 are going to be from the EQ brand, which would be huge, because that's not very long from now. That's what? 7 years. So in 7 years, they're going to have to produce enough vehicles, enough electric vehicles to make up 25% of their sales? Whoo! But here's the thing, right? I actually think that if they have the vehicles available and they are price competitive with the petrol and diesel ones, I think they'll do a lot more than 25%. What I've noticed a lot with electric vehicle manufacturers is it often comes down to the availability, right? The Bolt, fantastic vehicle. It would fly off the shelves. But there aren't very many in Europe. There are a fair number more in the US, where they either don't make a loss or they don't make as much of a loss, and also I suppose GM sold the Opel brand, which is what does the bolts, so now it's just a massive great loss leader. They don't want to sell those. Oh, pizza's ready. Hang on a minute. Pizza will be ready in 1 minute, Jasper. Demand is often the problem. Automakers want to manufacture EVs and they want to sell them, I think, or at least they want to be the one who sells you an EV if an EV is what you want to buy. If you'd rather buy a petrol or diesel, I think the vast majority of manufacturers would prefer that. But, you know, once you go EV, you don't go back. So they're trying to fix that problem by selling some EVs. It's an interesting one to watch, this transition, because often when you get a technology transition, the manufacturers are fully behind it, whereas this is very much a external pressure driven transition. The car makers, with the exception of Tesla and Nissan, and to some extent Renault as well, but you know, basically you've got the Nissan-Renault alliance and Tesla, and they seem pretty keen to sell EVs, honestly, they really do. Everybody else, they don't want to sell them at all. They would rather they disappeared, but they're being forced into it by customer demand, by government legislation, by upcoming government legislation, and just the general pull of society away from those oil burners into something a little bit more modern feeling. It's that lack of commitment I do think holds them back, if I'm being honest, because it means that they don't put their all into it. That's what I think, and I think they have to be careful, because as the transition picks up steam, which it is doing, I think what you're going to find is the ones that move first and move strongest are going to take market share, and it's becoming apparent that you can't throw together an EV really quickly and have it be any kind of a decent vehicle that will compete with incumbents in that space. Car manufacturers really do need to start thinking ahead a bit, which is why, for example, you know, the announcement by Ford that they're going to invest a large quantity of money in EVs. You've got Mercedes, BMW, VW, you know, every Audi, Porsche, Jaguar. So many manufacturers of cars are starting to really get behind solid plans to bring vehicles to market, because I think they're concerned that if they don't, they're just not going to actually be a relevant car maker in 8 years' time, 7 years' time, or sooner even. Which kind of begs the question, what are Toyota gonna do? They'll sell fuel cells, of course. I mean, who doesn't want to drive a fuel cell? Right, let me get the pizza. Jasper, pizza's ready! Okay, Jasper's in bed now, pizza's been eaten, all good. Oh, you know, I do struggle with, no, it's not going to work, is it? I do struggle with not being able to go out. It is one of the things that I really, like when the weather's awful and there's nothing much to do, not good. Good news, next week I'm going to get out of the house on at least one day, hopefully many days. Yes! But this week, I tell you what, there's another thing. I've wanted very much this week to try and put some time towards sorting out the office and the summer house. Mainly the summer house, because I want to try and crank out some GeekOutEV episodes on a bit more of a regular schedule. In particular because I want to try and get the total number of hours viewed up to 4,000 over the last 12 months for that channel, so that I can continue to monetize videos that go up on there. Which means I've done a bit of, you know, scrap piece of paper maths, and I think that means I need something like, I don't know, 10, 15 videos with a reasonable number of views going up on that channel. So, and I've got till the 20th of February to do that, so if you haven't checked out the GeekOutEV channel, highly recommend you do that. And I'm going to probably start putting a video up there every other day, every 3 or 4 days. I want to keep that channel going, because it gives me an opportunity to make the kind of videos that I probably wouldn't put on this channel otherwise. So that's kind of why, and that's kind of why I want it to be separate, because otherwise, you know, you're trying to make one channel that appeals to everybody on the world. Everyone who likes vlogs, everyone who likes skateboards, everyone who likes children, everyone who likes family, everyone who likes events, everyone who likes EVs and EV shows and EV news. It's just too much. It needs to sort of be a little bit more narrowly focused, which is why this is a vlog and gets a lot of me complaining about my ankle and skateboarding, and also a lot of whatever else is going on that I find interesting, like principally EVs, but also, you know, tech in general and space and all that kind of fun stuff. Whereas the GeekOutEV channel is just the EV stuff, and hopefully a bit more thought out and planned videos, which is what I like, but it doesn't work for a vlog. I don't want to go on about that too much, but that is going to be the plan. I'm going to try and start cranking those videos out so that by the 20th of February I've got enough watch time on that channel that I can continue my monetization of videos on there. And then probably what I'll do is I'll drop to like a couple of videos a week. We'll see what feels natural. But one thing I do need to do is try and sort out that summer house. So that means I'm gonna have to be on my foot for a bit more of the day tomorrow. Oh man, that's okay. It's all right. We'll get there. It'll be fine. It's feeling a lot better, and I've got stuff to do. I can't just lie on the sofa all day, every day for weeks on end. Oh, I really should have been far more careful with what footwear I was wearing when I was doing that skateboarding. I'm pretty sure that's what caused the problem. Just really the worst kind of shoes you could possibly come up with. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post and found it interesting. If you have, remember to like it and share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. They're just, you know, it's like science fiction. And if I want science fiction, I'm not going to go get it from Mercedes. I'm going to, you know, watch a good old Marvel movie or something like that. I was just reading Marvel stories to Jasper as his bedtime story. Quite into the Hulk at the moment, something about big green muscles.